What's up, everyone? Welcome to the post-collision unpopular review collision review show. Dan the man had to, well, he's on assignment, so he couldn't be here. So the new guy, the lowest guy in the totem pole, the world's oldest intern, has to take the lead. So here I am pretending I know how to lead a podcast instead of just being the funny, obnoxious guy who builds off other people's work. But I am Evil Dose, and luckily, they gave me a lifeline. They gave me the ever professional, ever lovely, ever beautiful, ever popular, ever insightful, ever bathrobed Shay Sawyer. You're going to need to unmute yourself.
I didn't even realize. The battle that I have with the mute button is it's legendary at this point.
Like Vacant is undefeated, the mute button is undefeated.
The mute button is definitely gotten the better of me most times. I'm not gonna lie.
I wish Vacant would lead. I mean, Vacant's a legend. So yeah, Shay, you and I have known each other for it's a few years now, but I'm not sure that we have ever actually done a show just the two of us. I'm pretty sure that we did a show where, I mean, obviously we did like the group show when everybody's on it. I think we did one show where it was three of us doing NXT once, but I think this is the only time it's just you and I. How's it feel?
I'm excited. I mean, I think for the most part we gel when it comes to like our opinions on certain things. I think we have a good rapport. I think we do. So I'm excited.
No, I think that's great. Now we don't have to gel on everything. I mean, conflict makes for good, content. We don't need to agree on everything. If we agreed on everything, that'd be pretty boring.
It would be.
Mean,
this is true.
Then I'd have to get a bathrobe so people could look at me. All right, so hey, what's up, bad guy Jack? And you are the most beautiful person, so hello to you. Aww. What is up? Oh, Brad Becker, this is great. These is like some of the people from like my ex worlds have actually decided to tune in and keep us company and show mercy on us, because this show was the bomb. And by the bomb, I don't mean the good way, the bomb. I mean like hit by the mother of all bombs, I like where we're like hitting Tora Bora from 10,000 feet there, bomb. So I'm feeling that this might be our first point of disagreement.
Oh no, I mean, I wouldn't say everything was perfection, but I actually kind of enjoyed this episode. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like it had everything, a little bit of everything for me.
Good. I think that's good, because that means that we're going to have things to disagree about, and that the people don't want to see.
I'm scared.
They don't want to see us like running off to get married or anything. But they want us to see us disagree. So this show emanated from Collision, that is from someplace in North Carolina. I think it was Charlotte. Maybe it was Greensboro. They seem to be doing a lot of shows in sort of the mid-Atlantic. They're doing North Charlotte next week. They're going to Norfolk in some point, then they're going like to the Shape It Center in St. Louis, which is going back west. The reason I'm listing all this is because people keep telling me that Mercedes Moné has signed with them and that she's going to debut in her hometown. Her hometown's Boston. What do you? Where is Boston on this? I mean, Shape St. Louis ain't close. Norfolk ain't close. North Charlotte isn't close. I didn't know Charlotte was big enough to have North Charlotte. What say you, Tay?
I mean, I don't even like to think about that. Like, lately, wrestling has been actually tricking me a lot. Like, sometimes I won't buy into it if I think someone's signed, and other times I will, and then it's nothing. So I've just decided to just give it to the heavens and hope for the best at this point.
Well, since nobody's here to control us, have you seen what's going on with Rebby and Matt Hardy?
No, I have not. No, I actually have not. I've been working all day, so I got off and I went straight onto Twitter.
Okay, so Rebby has defended Matt voraciously over the years. I mean, going complete like, DEFCON 1 type reactions. Also defending Jeff over the years, complete ride or die kind of person. Sorry, Mish, I'm stealing your phrase. Shout out to Anthony Missionary Thomas from Wrestling Soup. And all of a sudden she's posting things like, when you try to talk to your dumb husband, but his brain is oatmeal because he has CTE. And then Matt Hardy today posted, maybe Chris Benoit had the bright idea bitches be annoying. On Twitter, X, Matt Hardy posted he posted an endorsement of Benoit. Now, I'm sure he didn't mean it literally, but especially inside wrestling, you don't joke about Chris Benoit.
Yeah, very true.
I mean, like if I did it outside, like the outside world, it's bad enough, but let's face it, 98 out of 100 people aren't going to know what the hell I'm talking about. But it's like saying, OJ had the right idea. I mean, you better be with
Yeah.
your closest friends in a corner where nobody can hear you. You're like, or I mean, so anyway, that is one to watch. But here's what evil does, where I earn my evil. You know, I don't really care. You know, what happens
Yeah,
between them is their business and all that. And I totally think that Matt has had like 17 too many concussions. And I think this is ironic. This is all happening on the heels of Tony Khan saying we have the safest company, you know, in the history of the world, which is they probably have the least safe company that's not a deathmatch promotion. But here's what I want to see. I want to find out that Matt and Jeff have fallen off the wagon together, because they have, and that they enable each other. And I also want to find out just how much money they really don't have, and how all their value is into this ridiculous compound that they've been keeping up and paying ridiculous taxes on, and that it costs $27,000 a year to keep a kangaroo alive, not including vet bills and all of their animals and George Foreman and all this other nonsense. And that she can't get him to stop. And she's been trying to get him to straighten up, and he just won't stop wrestling. And now he's trying to, get this one last glory ride with Jeff, and they're both going to die, and they neither can do it. And he's got 4 kids, and he doesn't care about them. He only cares about his glory. I just can't wait for this to get acrimonious in public and us to hear all of these bombs. I see that you are shocked.
That was a lot. That was like a pipe bomb or something, like your own special kind. I'm seeing here, Steve said that his account was hacked. In terms of Rebby, she's from New York, so we just talk like that in general. Like whatever she said, he said anything like that. That's just how New Yorkers talk. For him, I guess he was hacked. Thank goodness, because that would not be.
Do you know who's actually been hacked? Like Target's been hacked. Banks get hacked. Nobody's hacking not Matt Hardy's social media. Shut up.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. All right. So this show emanates from someplace in North Carolina. So, of course, we have Justin Roberts doing the North Carolina. No, Justin Roberts. This is a Dasha show. So who's it open up with? We thought he was gone, but no, it's North Carolina, and they're sponsored. So, woo! Ric Flair opens it up. So obviously the first thing I think is, gee, Tony's really going with this thing. Then I'm thinking, why? And then I see what he's wearing. So I hit pause. I run into my closet. And sure enough, my Thomas pink tie has been stolen, and Ric Flair has multiplied it and turned it into a 3-piece suit. What the hell was that man wearing?
I think it was kind of, I kind of like the little, because it was kind of like a rose kind of like thing, right? Like the design, like it was like pinkish red, but then it had like kind of like a rose-ish kind of design. I liked it a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
So you think he was styling and profiling?
I mean, it's kind of his thing. So I mean, I'm not shocked.
Listen, I think it would be great if I was in some Tsarina's mansion in St. Petersburg and was sitting on that couch. But as a suit, ridiculous. And yes, I know he's got the same suit in blue and the same suit in gold, but it's still ridiculous. Thank you, Jeffrey Reimer. You are becoming my second favorite Jeff, and my favorite Jeff with a G, except for the giraffe from Toys R Us, of course. Sorry. So Ric Flair comes out, woo, and he's slowly making his way there, and I'm wondering why. And then I remember, because the next music comes out, and it's Darby and Sting. So Darby and Sting come out, and I remember that Ric Flair periodically is going to be with Sting on his farewell tour. And who are they wrestling? Trevor Murdoch and EC3, I believe, from NWA. Is that correct?
No. They are facing the Workhorsemen.
Oh, my good friend JD Drake, who loves his Pabst Blue Ribbon. Shout out to JD Drake. You're on my X. Hopefully you're watching too. All right, I'm gonna shock you in the world, especially given the first 3 hours of me talking on the show. This was a normal wrestling match. This was exactly what this wrestling match was. This was the most normal wrestling match I think I might have ever seen on AEW television. You had the bad guys cheated. They came out and they jumped them. You had your Ric Flair one chop spot and going woo. The bell was delayed. The bad guys were getting most of the offense, and then the good guys came in and Sting did his superhero thing. Chairs don't affect him anymore because that's what happens when you're 64. I can assure you at 55, just try and shoot me with a shotgun, just bounces off. Yeah, it's true. I'm going to stop right now. I had lots of jokes and they'd all be bad. So anyway, especially on the anniversary of January 6th. There's one of them. But so yeah, and then the good guys won. And then with the Stinger splash and Darby did his coffin drop. All this was a perfectly fine face bad guy. The workhorsemen are called the workhorsemen because they're safe, reliable wrestlers, not because they look pretty. But they did the job. I don't know that I'd put this on TV, but as far as the match was good, I thought it was short, sweet, perfect. So the match itself, no problems with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like every time that I see the workhorsemen on my screen, I enjoy their matches. I just kind of like their style. Yeah, no, I just really like their style. Yeah.
Do you want to date one of them? Do you want to maybe
no, no.
Toss back a Pabst Blue Ribbon with him?
No.
Go to a PBR bar, ride.
I like their wrestling.
Oh well, wrestling can be can be done in private too.
Oh my God, Jeff!
I'm a concerned parent here.
I do like their just how they operate in the ring. I'm a fan of it. I can't really explain why. I'm a fan. Yeah, this was, as you said, it was a pretty, straightforward tag match. I kind of got why they had, Rick come out. Obviously, they're in Charlotte. that's going to be like an easy, get the crowd pop. Of course, they're going to go for it. I don't blame them. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was pretty basic. Nothing too crazy to talk about, I don't feel like, in this match, except for, Sting's just having his victory lap. Let him do his victory lap. We love Sting. He can do whatever he wants. I don't care. I will not slander that man. You have to beat me to slander him.
I wouldn't even try. First of all, I don't think I can. Oftentimes you're wearing sleeveless shirts. I've seen your muscles. So I don't think I can do that. I don't think I could. That's exactly right. That's real. All that's natural. So after the match, they went out, and Ric Flair seemed to, he was, first of all, the guy who played Ric Flair in the Iron Claw, I'm pretty sure, was in the front row there, and Ric Flair took some selfies with him, and Darby, he took time to take pictures and talk to all the little kids with their face painted, and that's, you can tell Darby really appreciates the fans, and I saw him actually, whispering to the kid, making sure that he heard what he had to say, and that's good. He doesn't have to do that, and he did it. Sting looked like he sort of was in a rush. Sting was like, "I'm 64. I gotta pee. Come on, let's get out of here." Yeah, I guess here's another one, my friends, the Cleric of Chaos. Actually, been a recent guest on Garden of Doom. Of course, it hasn't dropped yet, but it will, and he's coming to us. Well, I'm never sure whether he's in Berlin, Toronto, or New York, but we'll just say Berlin because it sounds more
jet setter.
Yeah. They are an entertainer because the Cleric of Chaos is an ensemble group all in one corporeal form. It's sort of like the Holy Trinity, except more. But Sting performing in near empty arenas with an undefeated streak in the year 2024 is something no one would have predicted or wanted. Wow, the Cleric coming in strong. Flair taking energy is awful too. Well, he is selling those Woo energy drinks, but I hear they're pretty awful. So, but Sting isn't losing. No, Jeffrey Reimer once again proving you've earned the Jeffrey name. Sting is not losing. You are absolutely correct. Though we're going to come back to this in a bit, and because there was something that I found that might be interesting. Hey, what's up, Hassan? Happy New Year to you as well. So the next match we get is Berlin. There we go. See, I wasn't even lying. Back to New York City and Toronto for a few years. A few years. Wow. He's got one of those residency engagement like Erica Jane just got in Las Vegas. Well, see you guys live this morning. It's morning where you are. All right. Well, what are you doing up? Okay. But we are very glad to have you. I'm glad to have us. I should pay more attention to who's in the chat. I'm glad to see the Cleric is here and Brad Becker, and that at least I'm drawing a few people here. Look at that, and they agree with each other. This is great. But these are Cleric I've known for probably 10 years, going back to the days of Solid Monster Sounds Off.
Wow, that's so bad. That's wow.
Yeah,
that really is.
Yeah, sure is. All right, so our next match is for the Continental Crown, which they introduced Eddie Kingston not as the Continental Crown champion, but as the Ring of Honor World Champion, the New Japan Strong Overweight Heavyweight Champion or Open Weight Heavyweight Champion, something, and the Continental Champion. So is this 3 belts or is it 1? Answer me this, Shay, because I thought it was going to be 1 belt, and it sure feels like 3 to me.
I thought it was 3 belts. I might be a little confused on that. I thought it was just supposed to be 3 belts, and he just had them, and he just defended them all.
Well, do you ever defend them separately?
I think so. Yeah. I think yeah.
Okay, so this is just a gimmick temporarily until New Japan says, "Give us back our goddamn belt."
Perhaps.
Do you feel that if you have something called the Continental Crown and you have a Triple Crown Championship, whatever they decide to call it, I know other places call it Triple Crown, so they probably don't want to call it Triple Crown. But when you have something called the Continental Crown, but 2 of your belts have the words World Heavyweight Champion in them, doesn't it make the AEW Continental Championship feel like the lowest of the 3 when it should be the largest of the 3?
I mean, I see where you're going with it, and I do feel like you have some points. You have a leg to stand on.
2.
Yes. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it just depends on how they treat, each defense, like how they treat it. I think like just how they go about it kind of tells me which one they give the most value to. I mean, I get what you mean though.
Mm-hmm. Well, I harken back to when they first introduced the TNT belt, and they said this is not a mid-card title. This is co-equal with the AEW Championship. And for a bit, sort of felt that way. Then they introduced the All-Atlantic title, which was ridiculous because it had the flags of Japan and China, which, for those of you who are not strong on geography or words, like I'm not, there's no Atlantic anywhere near Japan or China. So there you go. And they changed it to the Continental Championship, and that's been treated pretty importantly. That's felt like the workhorse title, like the Intercontinental Championship of the old days, and maybe now again too. And now this title, I thought was going to try, they were going to try to make it feel more important. But I have to be honest with you, what you said is really important because it depends how they treat it afterwards. And the first way they determine who the number 1 contender is a fatal 4-way between 4 guys who have no business being in title contention. 4 guys who generally lose matches. Sure, one of them is 1/3 of the Ring of Honor 6-man championships, but is a pin eater in AEW. 2 of them lose, much more than they win. And then you have the AAA Mega champion, which I guess that could have made a little bit of sense, but since AAA is not in on this gig, of course he wasn't going to win. So our first challenger is Trent Beretta, someone who every now and then gets a contender match but loses all the time, as he should because he sucks. And he's the number 1 contender, and he's the first title defense. So I'm going to say they're starting with a whimper.
I mean, I actually really liked this match. I feel like Trent brought a lot. I mean, I think he got busted open. Was that his nose or was it like the bridge of his? I wasn't sure what was going on when he was busted open like that. It looked really, really bad. But
I think it was his feelings. I think it was his safe space. I think his safe space was broken, and it was his feelings.
What? You safe space? Wait.
Because these are AEW wrestlers. They're all a bunch of babies.
That looked so painful. I would literally lose it if I had that type of injury. I don't even know what was going on with his face, but it was just too much blood, and I
Do
get
you think
squeamish.
do you think it was unplanned? Because I think it was planned because his mommy was there, and I think that was supposed to make her, I mean, I didn't recognize her not driving a white minivan, so
Do you think it was like a ploy for like people to kind of root for him more or feel bad because his mom was there by doing
yeah,
that?
yeah. And usually when someone's family is there, I mean, either they're going to get a savage beatdown, but Kingston's a face, sort of. By the way, these face versus face matches are even worse than heel versus heel matches. But yeah, I think it's supposed to make you think that they have a chance. I mean, because this was also, I remember FTR's family was there because House of Black in the first match in this feud said, let's have a stipulation in match number 1 where if you lose, you disown your families and join the House of Black. And if we lose, I don't know what the hell the condition was. I don't think there was any counter condition. And FTR's like, okay.
If we lose, we beat you up. That's
Yeah,
what they're.
that's right. If we win, we're stuck with Danny Garcia, the charisma vacuum, for our lack of charisma.
No, I love Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Do this. Like, yeah.
Ooh, I prefer the Pizzawa dance. I even prefer the.
Oh no! That dance is on probation right now.
I mean, any dance I can do is a good dance. All right. So yeah. So this match, obviously, you liked it. Listen, if you like Eddie Kingston matches, this was an Eddie Kingston match. I call it Japanese weak style because Eddie Kingston at some point 2 or 3 years ago, he thought he was like Masahiro Chono, and all he wants to do is Japanese style wrestling when he should just do like brawler matches because that's what he looks like. He looks like the drunk unemployed uncle who has PTSD from a bad tour in the Nam, but you don't want to F with him because he actually can fight even though he doesn't look, and everyone in the neighborhood knows not to mess with him. That's what he looks like. That's what his character should be. Not doing machine gun slaps and crying and crap like that. Trent is just the skinny twink. The defining moment of Trent Beretta's career was about 10 years ago, where Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta come out on the stage in Ring of Honor, and Rocky Romero goes, I'm telling the world right now, our tag team of Roppongi Vice, it's over. We're breaking up. And I'm telling you why, because Trent, you're too good for tag team. Trent, you go out there and you become a world champion. And Trent goes, yes. And they hug it out. And the next time I see Trent Beretta, which is maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, he comes back with Chuck Taylor as best friends. That he's just a loser. He's an underachiever. He's a quitter. He's lucky he's got a job. He's lucky that Tony Khan loves one of his best friends' penis in the top 3 penises in the world, Chris Jericho, John Moxley, and Orange Cassidy. Those are the favorite eggplant emojis that Tony Khan loves. I'm not sure of the order. And so Trent still has a job, even though his fat ass friend Chuck is injured again, and hopefully he'll retire. So Trent Beretta obviously loses in front of his mother, and there wasn't much emotion involved. But Eddie Kingston, he's teasing an did she quit?
No, sorry, my camera. I'm sorry. It'll do that sometime.
So the story we have here, other than Japanese weak style, is that Eddie Kingston is really teasing that he's got this sort of neck injury going into his left trap. So I don't know if that's going to be something. You heard me, Reimer. I hardly even know her. So I don't know if that's going to be a continuing story. I mean, it was sort of like when Orange Cassidy, favorite penis, was acting like the Superman punch. His orange punch was hurting his wrist, and that was going to be a story, and never actually turned into one of any consequence or anything happened with it. But we'll see. We'll look at that. So obviously, I think you have a different take on the match, so maybe you can spin it a different way.
I mean, no, I just really liked it. I feel like there was a lot of back and forth. I feel like Trent got a lot of offense, which I really, really liked, because I'm not a fan of squash matches, honestly. So I was liking how much offense he really got. And there was at one point I really thought he was gonna lose, and he still kicked out. Like, I love that. Like, just don't let it be so what's the word, predictable. Like, we knew he was gonna win, but it didn't need to be like so easy for me to like, oh yeah, well, it's over. No, it wasn't. It was a lot going on, and I really enjoyed it. And I mean, we'll see where this goes with Trent at this point. I mean, that was a really, really, I thought it was a fun showing for him. So, we'll see where that goes.
Okay. I mean, I think Trent is where Trent is, and it's not going to go anywhere. Then we'll see where it goes with Kingston. As far as the match is concerned, I mean, on a serious note, I understand why you're saying that, but to me, because I knew Trent had zero chance in winning, I just felt like it was wasting time being that long. So, it was just, and obviously I'm not interested in Trent Beretta. So it's not even like I was interested in like you knew Mia Yim was not beating Io Sky for the women's championship, but because she hasn't really been featured much and she put on a really good performance, that to me was interesting. And I haven't really seen her in much action. I mean, I know she was in NXT, but like I remember more from the Dollhouse in Impact, when her and I think it was Marty Bell and was it Taryn Terrell or yeah. Anyway, that I remember from then. But even in NXT, she never really seemed to be featured very much. And I thought she was good in the 8-person match a couple weeks ago, and got the pinfall. See, that was a match that I thought was well done. With Trent, I just knew it wasn't going to happen. And it's not like he's a young unknown. He's been in AEW since day one, and basically Best Friends is on TV every week, oftentimes on more than one show. So I didn't feel like it was anything new and fresh. So, no joking, all joking aside. So anyway, the next segment is Tony Schiavone interviewing Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander, who we know does not watch Unpopular Review because she still has not invested in a bra. For God's sake, woman, invest in a bra. But what she did invest in apparently was an iguana, which was sitting there on her shoulder like she's some sort of weird parrot, a pirate with something. It's like Japanese weak style. This was like Jake the Snake Roberts weak style. I don't know. So the story here is that Willow and Chris Statlander are friends. They're both faces, but they've both been sort of misted within the last, I don't know, say, the gestation period of a pregnant person. So by Julia Hart. And the mist doesn't affect everyone the same and at the same time. And Chris Statlander lost the title, and Willow did this and that, and Stokely Hathaway seems to be interested in Chris Statlander and wants her to go after the world championship, while Willow seems to be sort of, just happy to do whatever she's doing, but she has goals. We don't know what they are, but Stokely doesn't seem to be interested in Willow, just Chris Statlander, which is weird because Willow's actually the better out of the two of them, but okay, that's the story. I get it. And Chris Statlander actually is a natural heel, and Stokely is a heel manager. Willow's a natural face. So, this all makes sense. But in the interview, I mean, they accomplished nothing. They just talk. I mean, sure, there was a little bit about what their goals are and how they're different, and there was a little bit mentioned about how Stokely Hathaway seems more interested than Chris Statlander and Willow says that's weird. And that's where Chris Statlander should look at her sideways, but she didn't, because Chris Statlander can't act and she has no facial expressions except when she's doing American Sign Language. So to me, this was nothing except, once again, saying she can't afford a bra, but can afford an iguana. So
I feel like they were just kind of like, it was kind of just meant to be like, hey, these women are here. I think that the last few months, AEW has been they have hit a reset on their women's division, and I think now they're really putting a lot of effort into it. And I think it was just more of a, hey, these women are here, they're featured, they're not having a match tonight, but they are here, and they are definitely gonna shake things up. I really do like Chris. She makes me laugh when she did the whole Zoolander. She was like, I loved it. I'm sorry, like, it just makes me laugh. And Boots is adorable.
You do whatever makes you happy. You make funny faces, make model faces. You do whatever. Listen, I'm rambling off here like I'm Vinny LaSpada. You do what you want.
I love the face. It's so cute. And I loved
Do it
Boots.
again.
She wanted to have Boots, have a little screen time. That's okay. Um,
I'd like to make a boot out of that thing.
oh my gosh.
I'm kidding. I wouldn't. I don't like boots.
No, but yeah, I think it was just kind of like them just like they definitely want to make it clear, we're putting that effort into women. We want you to know these women are featured, they're here. And I think the whole reason that Willow was able to get over the mist is because to me, I think she's one of the most believable baby faces in wrestling in general right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the power of baby face was just too strong within her for the Black Mist to take over like it did Sky Blue. That's my thoughts.
I agree with you. She's got the power of Grayskull in her. That absolutely. So, an interesting point, because Britt Baker recently came out and sort of buried the women's division, pretending that she's taken a step back because people said they were sick of her, so she wants to see how the women's division would do without her. No, she's been injured, and we all know that. But the women's division has gotten better without her, and I like Britt Baker. I think that I don't think she's that great a wrestler, but she's adequate, and I think her character is great as a heel. As a face, not so much, but still. But it has. They've developed stories. I mean, the Outcasts broke up for no apparent reason, but Tony Storm's been killing it. I really actually am somehow enjoying this stuff with Ruby Soho and Angelo Parker. I love everything Harley Cameron's doing. She is the high point of every show she's on. She's the only thing that was good on Rampage. And anyway, but I think, the thing with Willow, Julia Hart, Chris Statlander, there have been stories, sky blue, dark blue, thundercloud blue. It's been good. They've been developing some female wrestlers, and not all of it is around titles, which is important. You need to have stories for people who are not around the title, because not everyone can be around the title all the time. And the women's division has gotten better. It's still only 2 matches a week out of 5 hours of TV, maybe 3. So. I don't hold much hope for it that way, but as long as Tony is paying them, 5 times the rate they would get on the indies, then, good for them all. All right. What I think we should do is we should go to a commercial, and then we should read some of the comments and then pick up with the show.
Yes, I agree. So let me find that real quick.
Let's go to a commercial.
I think it's this one. Is this a commercial? I think it is. I'm going to click it.
His name is Zoolander. Derek Zoolander, international male supermodel. But behind those eyes is a highly trained man of action.
You rock. No, you rock.
And perhaps the world's only hope of stopping a sinister assassination plot. Zoolander.
Can I just say I love the witchcraft power that Chris Statlander has for me to bring up Zoolander because of her. And then the commercial that I pick, not even on purpose, is Zoolander. I'm sorry. That's kind of like awesome. Look, yeah.
Give us the blue silver.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Whoa.
I still
get some money and throw it at you. I only have $4. Okay. All right. So listen, you titled this segment, so you're going to take this away, because this is Hook in the Streets.
This is so random to me. I don't know where this is coming from. I mean, I don't know. I'm still very on the fence and undecided about Hook. I think he has a great look. I just feel like maybe he should just be one of those people that has a manager. I think he's one of those people that he looks so scary without talking, just looking, just kind of, I think he should have a manager, someone to just do the talking for him. That's just me. Not because he can't talk. I don't think he was bad or anything. I just think he would benefit so much from not talking. Kind of like this. Not saying to be the same person, but I feel like he gives the Solo vibe, Solo Sequoia, very don't talk, but you're scaring me without saying words. I feel like that's what I get from Hook. But yeah, this is really random. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a great match. It's kind of random to me.
What match are you referring to?
Well, he's challenging Samoa Joe for the AEW World Title.
The Samoa Joe?
The Samoa Joe.
Wow. Hook. How do I say this? Like, I think for like a high school lacrosse player, he looks scary. For a professional wrestler, he doesn't. I mean, obviously, Samoa Joe and Taz have had comparisons for years and years and years, and that's what they're going for. I mean, it's like nostalgia once removed. I'm not really sure it works. Hook can't really wrestle. Hook can do moves if you go to him. The only move he knows how to do when he has to go to you is the body blows. And they hide it by putting him in tag teams or very short matches or with people who know how to go to him, how to work him. He doesn't know how to work. He can just do moves and spots. I agree with these guys. He's an Abercrombie and Fitch model. I don't mind how he talks. I don't know that he needs a manager. I think you're right. I mean, it's just for that persona. Like if he looked like Karrion Kross with that persona, it would work. It would work for Karrion Kross. Like whatever he's doing doesn't seem to be working, though everyone is. Listen, I like Kross. I've always liked Kross. I like AOP. But like everyone on the Twitterverse is pretending they love Kross and AOP all of a sudden. It's like 2 weeks ago that nobody was talking about AOP, and everyone's like, get rid of Kross, he sucks. And I'd like to see what happens with this, but but I think that this would be a character that would work for him. Or if you put like his body, or like remember the Barbarian, like from the Powers of Pain. Like if go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say about you saying about AOP. Honestly, I'm still angry with them for beating TM61 for the Dusty Classic. So I'm still am angry. So I'm not even a fan because I'm upset about that.
Holding grudges is tight. So we got Hook on a dark street that wearing a hoodie, saying that he's challenging Samoa Joe, and that's it. And then we got and then Hook displayed in large letters on the screen. So that was it. And next we get what they call is a proving grounds match, which is that if you as a challenger team defeat the champions, you will get a title match. So the team that they bring before us is somehow Commander and Brian Keith. I don't know what that's all about. Jack does nothing wrong. He's perfect. How dare you?
Just kidding.
Yeah. And they come out to face Matt Bennett, it's Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, the Kingdom, with Roderick Strong, Adam, and not Maria, Mike Bennett's wife, and the actual former manager of the Kingdom, which I get and don't get at the same time. Not that I'm really complaining, but and it's for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship. So, again, there's no chance that Bounty Hunter, Brian Keith, and Commander are a tag team and are beating these guys for a title shot. Nobody wants to see that title shot anyway, and nobody's interested in the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, at all now. They were a little bit interested when it was MJF and Adam Cole, and that story was going on. But anything else, it's just confusing that it even exists. So I'm going to let you do the lead on this match because I don't. This whole thing disgusts me. Disgusting.
I mean, I thought it was a pretty fun match. Like I like some things that Matt Taven was doing. Like I just like the way he wrestles. I just had to say that specifically. I feel like honestly, I know you said like you felt like the ROH titles had some steam when MJF had. I honestly feel like he killed whatever steam that the titles had because it was a guy holding it, but he didn't have a tag partner. And then now you have him beating tag teams by himself, which I just feel like it's so ridiculous. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that?
It devalued the tag team titles, but I think people were at least interested because they were interested in those two. But Cole got injured as usual, and then it just went too long. They didn't know what to do with it. They should have just stripped them of the titles and had one of his famous tournaments. But I don't know. I don't know. Mike Bennett, you mean the gentleman spewing false positive affirmations to gritted teeth? That's him. That's the one. And Maria Kanellis talking about how much they how she revolutionized wrestling, and everyone came. She's the one who paved the way for everyone who came after her. All right, whatever.
What I will say is I do appreciate how pro women Maria is, and I really really enjoyed her promotion with Bobby Cruz, Women's Wrestling Army. I really really enjoyed that. They said that they'll have new episodes at some point. I'm really hoping that's the case, because I think that them showcasing those women, the likes of Queen Aminata, Holodead, Tasha Steeles, like they had a lot of a very very fun, great. Sky Blue even did some shows, so I will say for that, I do appreciate her for that accommodation too. Just women.
Yeah. And in this crazy universe, I know who all three of those female wrestlers are. Was Genocide not available for the show? I mean, she's the only, no Marty Bell, Allison Kay, not available.
Oh, they were on there as well. Yes, I love them. The Hex.
Who knows his indie wrestling? Come on.
I'm never gonna doubt you. Listen.
and you should always question me. All right, so our next, so you like the match. I didn't much like it. Just same reasons the Eddie Kingston Trent thing. Didn't care. Hex, says Jeffrey Reimer. Okay, the Cleric. Ever since the Ring of Honor acquisition, the change of all the belts to Silver S designs. Actually, those changes predate the acquisition. The Ring of Honor actually changed them. Everything about the company feels hollow. Bring back Gabe Sapolsky. Well, the company's hollow, but I'm not sure the great Gabe Sapolsky. Everyone sort of romanticizes what Gabe Sapolsky did. Now, maybe if Gabe Sapolsky had $10 million and could afford to run a promotion, maybe he would do a great job. But nobody will ever know that, because he never was able to do a promotion by himself. He had to do it with Feinstein, and then he had to do it with Sinclair, and then they folded. I mean, so
this guy, he knows the lore. Like, don't play with Jeff. Seriously,
I'm a Ring of Honor old head. I mean, I was actually in the Du Burns Arena this past week, which is, I'm like, I haven't been here since Ring of Honor. As the friend of mine's on like a Division III Major League Soccer team. And he's the goalie. Of course, he tells me of the day of, I twisted my knee, so I probably won't play. He was in khakis. We should have the sarcasm. Yes, Feinstein. Yeah, yes. I have a Feinstein in person story, and I'm not going to tell it. I'm a first-hand witness. I just was not directly involved, and it does involve one sunny kiss. So there you go. Tune in, people. Not on this show. You have to tune into other shows. I don't want to. I think Shay's already getting a Jeff overdose of evilness. So backstage, we get Jay White with Bullet Club Gold, sort of. I mean, it's the Guns. Juice Robinson had back surgery, and who knows when the heck he's going to be back. And I never thought I would say these words, but I sure do miss Juice Robinson.
I do miss him.
Yeah, it was good. So they're talking about how, they're going to go after the devil, and la-di-da, they did their woo-woo magic, and now you think you're all big stuff, and you're going after titles, but they haven't forgotten, and they're coming for you. And before they really say anything of substance, they sort of get interrupted by Daddy Ass, and the Acclaim come in, and basically, they, have words, remind each other they were, friends, and your daddy's got to save your asses again. And but then Anthony Bowen says, hey, before this gets out of control, one thing I've learned is that the only way to succeed in AEW is through factions. True. What he didn't say, but it came through anyway, but he should have, was that there's a big faction against us, and they've been trying to beat us down, and we'd be better together than apart. Jay White doesn't seem to be interested. I believe it's Colton Gunn also didn't seem to be interested. But Austin Gunn, he says to Renee, you know what? Kind of makes sense. And she's like, yes, it does. And then you hear, Austin! And so they're yelling at him to come back. So I guess Austin is playing the role of Max Caster now.
So I have a lot of thoughts about this. Obviously, I feel like people know I'm a big Bullet Club Gold fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just a little bit I'm not into this, because first, okay, now it seems like they're probably going to turn them, like, or is this like a one-off thing? But if it's a one-off thing, I don't see them overcoming Adam Cole and, the Undisputed Kingdom, because I mean, they're pretty new, and it would kind of, I don't know. To me, it would make no sense for them to go into a big battle and lose that first big battle after just, establishing.
You mean like when a man breaks into someone else's house and threatens his baby and still loses a blood match? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So
Stuff like that.
welcome to AEW, where things don't make sense, and they're still somehow predictable.
Yeah, no, it's just like I don't know. Like I don't like this for Jay White. I don't like this for Bullet Club Gold.
I don't either. He's a natural heel.
Yes. So, but I know that for the next few weeks, we're going to get these fuddy-duddy, over-the-top, like, jokey segments, like, once they give in, because it's going to have, like, I already see the writing on the wall with Austin. I only think Austin is breaking because he doesn't have a nickname yet, and I blame Cardblade. They should have given him his nickname by now.
Where is Cardblade? I mean, I think he's angry with them.
He was by Juicy's side.
Yeah, no, I think that he's angry. I don't think he's speaking to them.
He's by Juicy's side. That's he wanted to make sure he's okay.
He's guarded. He's Guardblade now.
Exactly. See, you get it. You get it.
Yeah, I get it. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you. Listen, I mean, obviously the Guns and their dad have to reconcile at some point, but this seems to be unnecessarily forced. I mean, but listen, the story at least makes sense. They were both attacked by the Devil Squad, so okay, fine. But I don't like it either. The Acclaimed, actually, they work as faces and heels. The Guns work best as heels.
Yeah.
And I could see, either of them winning the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, but it's unnecessary. And it doesn't make sense for the Devil faction to lose the only titles they have, because clearly they're supposed to have the World Championship right now, and they don't. Have the Acclaimed lost team? Yes, they have.
Probably. I mean, probably.
Yeah. If you have to ask the question, you already know the answer. I'm not sure that everybody loves the Acclaimed anymore. I think like everyone's like, yes, I sort of like the Acclaimed, and I love them at some point. And now, let's see what they do. I'm not so sure. The Acclaimed. So scissor me, daddy. See, it doesn't even work now. All right. So then we get Edge, and Edge comes in and basically says, he tells the story about what happened in World's End, and he says, Christian, I worked harder than you, even though Christian's shirt says outwork anyone or outwork everyone, and he says, Christian says I have to go to the back of the line, but as the former champion, I have an automatic rematch, which, by the way, I've been told in AEW, you don't get automatic rematches just because you lose a title, though in the course of the last 4.5 years, you do sometimes when they want it to be, and other times you don't. But anyway, Edge says, I don't care. I'll go to the back of the line. I'm issuing an open challenge, and Tony Schiavone confirms that Edge signed an open challenge contract. Woo! What a brave man. And out comes Mrs. Mike Bennett, Maria Kanellis, the first lady of wrestling, self-proclaimed, with the kingdom. With Griff Garrison, who somehow has lost weight and has gotten skinnier from 4 years ago. I mean, that is the ultimate AEW exercise program. And Caden Cole, who was in AEW for about 5 seconds, and he was with the Ari Daivari, who I'm not sure if he's still there, and Tony Nese, who I'm not sure if he's still there, and Josh Woods, who deserves better. The only thing Caden Cole did of any consequence was being thrown in the river by the D'Angelo family, and I thought he was gone. But apparently Maria Kanellis is managing these two as a tag team in Ring of Honor, and they're important. And are they coming as a tag team? No, it's Griff Garrison challenging Edge, and Edge says, you remind me of me when I was your age. Griff Garrison's 25, Edge is 50, exactly half his age. I would say no, and Griff reintroduced himself. The only thing I remember about Griff Garrison is once he came out with Jungle Boy, and someone said, who's this, Jungle Man? And then he was with the Varsity Blondes, which were a bunch of losers too. There's another thing about AEW making sense. You make fun of the guy's mother, and you win. Come on! And then she dies. Bethany. Yeah, Brian Pillman's mother. The MJF made fun of the mother.
That is so terrible.
And then beat Brian Pillman. I mean, come on. What the hell's going on here? This isn't wrestling.
King.
Yeah. So anyway, Edge, Edge says, he's actually coming off really heelish. He's like, boy. Actually, he doesn't talk like that. He's Canadian. He's like, you're brave, but you're like coming from below sea level and you're challenging Mount Everest, which is, that's a heel thing to say. Griff Garrison slaps him, and Edge goes, "You know what? I think that makes me even like you better, but I'm still gonna beat your ass." And he gives him a big boot to the head, and you think it's going to be an immediate squash, but no, they give us an overly competitive match for 7 or 8 minutes. But Edge does eventually hit the spear and win, and Caden Cole or Cole Carter or Caden Hanafi or whoever the fuck that guy is does nothing to help his partner of consequence. Maria does nothing useful whatsoever. She's over 40, so I'm not even really interested in her boobs anymore. So I'm sure that you enjoyed the match better than I did. You're
No,
right.
it was
Her boobs are good. Her boobs are good.
I did enjoy this match. I was shocked about how much. Again, this is another match where I was shocked about the amount of offense that Griff Garrison did get. I could see what Adam is saying in terms of seeing stuff in Griff in terms of he's tall, lanky, and his hair is about the same length as Adam. I guess when he starts, I could see why he would be like, "Oh, you remind me of me."
Mm-hmm. He also reminds me of like every glam band from 1987, but I'm not asking him to sing Youth Gone Wild by Skid Row.
He kind of was giving me like Pretty Deadly vibes, like just his look. Like that's the vibe I get from Griff Garrison.
Without charisma or talent, but yeah.
Oh my god. No, but yeah, I really did. I enjoyed the match for what it was. I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't just a squash, which I really, really thought it was going to be.
I was unpleasantly surprised that it wasn't a squash.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's really weird because sometimes you think, should this have been like a match like that much time? Should it have been, depending on the person, like Edge? Oh, should it have went on that long when it's someone who's fairly, new compared to Edge's outrageous careers? It's so hard. Like you said, Edge once, and now I can't stop Adam's long career.
AC.
AC. I was gonna say
still Adam Cole. There's still an Adam Cole too. I mean,
there's too many Adams.
Now we know why Vince didn't change people's names. This is why.
No, but I did enjoy it though, and I think that putting them, them being with Maria, I think she is a really good heater when she, really, really puts it on. So
yeah, but she didn't put any on here. She wasn't supposed to. I mean, it just got them some TV time. I mean, maybe they had a Ring of Honor match later that was being taped, and that's the reason they were all there. So they gave them all some TV time. But I really think that Ed should have like 3 or 4 squash matches, just killing people, until he gets to have some challenge, and then finally Christian can run away. Go ahead.
When you say that, like I get what you're saying, because I mean, like it's Adam Copeland, like you want him to stay looking very dominant, extremely dominant, especially after all the stuff with Christian at World's End, so you don't really want to just have him just kind of like doing these long matches with people who you feel like are not on that same level as him. But I mean, I feel like someone had said that he said in an interview that he did want to work with him, so I think he just wanted to give him that time. But I could see what you mean, because I remember sometimes when I was like, this definitely could have been an email. This didn't need to be a whole thing sometimes.
That's exactly right. There didn't need to be a meeting is exactly right. I mean, he wants to work with him. That's fine, but he's not the booker. And Tony's the booker. He's trying to tell a story, and the story should be nothing is going to stop Edge. Edge is going to go through everybody like a steam train, and he's not, listen, no offense to Griff Garrison, but he's not anyone in consequence. He's and we know that because Tony's put him in a tag team on Ring of Honor. So him getting squashed by Adam Copeland doesn't matter. Caden Cole getting squashed next week by Adam Copeland doesn't matter. Anthony Henry and then JD Drake getting squashed by Adam Copeland doesn't matter. I mean, I could see when you start to get to like, Kip Sabian doesn't matter. The Butcher and the Blade, who seem to be on a lot, their contracts were non-reviewed, them getting killed doesn't matter. I can see when you get to the point of when you're facing like, I don't know, Kyle Fletcher, who, I don't really care about Kyle Fletcher, but they see Kyle Fletcher as, a future pillar adjacent. I can see when you get to a Kyle Fletcher level that it's not a squash, or a Sammy Guevara, another guy I don't like, but it's not a squash then. when you're fighting some more substantial bad guys. Lance Archer, who never wins anything, but it's not a squash match. I get that, but he should have 5 or 6 like matches that are 15 seconds to 3.5 minutes, like week after week after week, just to establish him as a killing machine. Anyway, we're going way too far because we already know that at some point Edge is going to face Christian again, and Kill Switch will reclaim his name as Luchasaurus. I'm a Kill Switch. I'm a dinosaur called Luchasaurus. Ooh.
I don't know who Matt Dickey is. I'm gonna be honest.
Neither do I. But the cleric's wisdom is wide and deep, and but I don't. But let's just pretend we do. When you ask for too much money on a contract, and they send you to the beginning of the promotion again. I'm going to guess that Matt Dickey is a bad promoter who, when somebody Ultimate Warriored him, they put them at the bottom of the card, just from the context of it. Whereas Vince just fires you. All right. So next we have Ric Flair, Sting, and Darby backstage in an interview segment where they said nothing except positive things, and then they're going forward. But there was one line that maybe is going to matter, and I'm not sure if it will because you can never tell with AEW. But Sting said that Darby Allin is the best tag team partner he's ever had. And, he's had partners like Luger. He's had partners, of course, like, ultimately the Ultimate Warrior, though he wasn't the Ultimate Warrior yet. But he's also tagged with someone named Ric Flair. And that may at some point lead to Rick double-crossing him and maybe the retirement being put on hold, on hiatus, or it's just a throwaway line. But that was the only part of the segment that I took note of, and I actually wrote it down just in case it does come back. Did you? Yeah. Other than that, I don't know what this segment was about because we already saw them.
I feel like Singh was just trying to be nice because I just don't know how he would. I think he was just trying to be nice when he said that.
Okay. There you go. All right. Next match was a battle of the butts in Sky Blue and Kiera Hogan, 2 former tag team partners. Nobody remembers that Kiera Hogan is still in AEW. Every now and then she showed up when Punk was booking, and then here she is again. I remember when she was hired away from Impact and NWA. It was like, oh, she's a big star. That she's going to be like their Sasha Banks. She's going to really solidify the women's division. And I heard that with Saraya. I heard that with Ruby Soho. I heard that with Ember Moon, Athena. I heard that with Taya Valkyrie. I heard that with Mariah. I've heard it so many times, it's ridiculous. Anyway, Sky Blue and Kiera Hogan put on a little match, and Sky Blue won, as she should, because the story right now is Sky Blue and her turning to the dark side or having turned to the dark side. It's not entirely clear because she still winks at us, but the smile just doesn't seem to come to her lips or eyes when she winks. It's a joyless wink. What say you? You're a woman. You understand how women.
I like it. I think it's like great acting on her part because it's like giving like, I'm void. Like, I'm part of this dark entity, but I am present also. Like, I don't know. I like it.
And I'm going to kill you, which was good. And I'm going to kill my former friend.
Heard about it.
Yeah, and people were talking about her butt. And I don't want anyone talking about her butt. They should be talking about my butt. Speaking of people without butts, Serena Deeb, another vignette. So they dusted her off. And apparently her idea of training is being Harry Houdini and escaping from straitjackets. So I guess she was institutionalized in a mental institution that films you. So yeah, they're, this is the second vignette we've seen for Serena Deeb. Welcome back. She's probably one of the best female technical wrestlers, period, but without argument in AEW. I don't know why you decide to push her now when you just signed Deonna Purrazzo, because they're both sort of the same type of wrestler, unless the goal is to have Deonna Purrazzo beat Serena Deeb and they have that kind of a Zack Sabre Jr. Bryan Danielson match. But I mean, it seems like Deonna Purrazzo's near-term date is going through Mariah May and getting to Toni Storm. But I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with the vignettes. I like Serena Deeb as a wrestler. You know, there's people always knock the AEW women's division, but they actually have a pretty solid division. It's just they don't give them stuff to do. Jeffrey Reimer says thought she was done. She actually was having seizures, and apparently now she is whatever it is they've treated it, whatever it is they diagnosed it and managed it, or they've subsided on their own. She didn't say much more than that, and so she doesn't have to. But apparently, the safest wrestling promotion in the history of humankind has cleared her to wrestle. The same company that has cleared Shibata to wrestle, who is missing a piece of his skull. So take that for what you want, and is allowing Matt Hardy and John Moxley to wrestle when their brains are turning into oatmeal right before our eyes. But anyway, Serena Deeb coming back. What do you think?
I mean, as you said, fantastic wrestler. I mean, I'm all for, I think they just need certain people to really kind of get the ball rolling. And I think she's a great person. I think something that my usual co-host for the Big Pop Theory says, like, she's a good hand.
Who's your co-host with Big Pop Theory, that wonderful podcast I listen to every week?
It's just Bad Guy Jack,
Just Bad Guy Jack?
He's all right. But he always says that line of, like, someone being a good hand. Like, when I think of, like, someone who just always, you can rely on them when it comes to in between the ring, I think of, like, Molly Holly, Ivory. I think of, Natalia. Those are people I think of. And I think that Serena definitely fits that. So, hey, you need her around. You need that foundation, because you can't have all those people without that foundation. Those people are going to get them there. Because a lot of times...
Do you think that she has a new submission move that's going to involve, like, her straight jacket move and submit them with that? Or is that just going to be something we never hear about again?
I'm not sure. I will definitely have to look into that for you, and I will get back to you.
Maybe after the next commercial.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, you're right. So let's see about a commercial.
Yeah, let's see about one.
That's not a commercial. Is this a commercial?
I don't know. Could
this
be.
Is not a commercial. I think that was the only commercial. You know what?
That's how I feel every week on Hammerlock Hangover when I'm co-hosting with Big Daddy Cool Steve. Always I feel like going to sleep. He's so boring.
So, you know what, guys? I don't think you got to see that Zoolander commercial as great first time. I think you need to see it again, guys.
Mm-hmm. His name is Zoolander. Derek Zoolander. International male supermodel. But behind those eyes is a highly trained man of action.
You rock. Now you rock.
And perhaps the world's only hope of stopping a sinister assassination plot. Zoolander.
Wow. On Garden of Doom, I had Hollywood big shot producer Mark Hamill. And we talked about lots of things, that movies and projects that he's worked on. And actually, he defined what the role was of every type of production role, from production assistant up to executive producer and producer. And apparently they're reversed in TV. And he also said he hates Ben Stiller, and he doesn't care who hears it, that he hates Ben Stiller, that he's a piece of shit, which I found weird. I don't know Ben Stiller, but I mean, that kind of animus. I mean, I figured that you'd go with someone who's, seems meaner, like Russell Crowe or whatever. All right. The Z is silent. That's that. UPR's own Silent Z. Serena is dope. Reminds me of Natty a bit. Yeah. But Deonna Purrazzo has been the best women's wrestler, not in WWE, for the past 3 to 4 years. Maybe. I mean, nobody's seen her. So, could be. Could be true. I don't know. Everyone's telling me that this Julia is the best. And then Tony Storm was the best. And Taya Valkyrie was the best. And Emi Sakura was the best. And Hikaru Shida was the best. And Rhea was absolutely the bestest of the best. She's simply the best. Sorry.
I also think that Queen Aminata is a big up there for me as well in that conversation. I think she's such a good wrestler.
Well, you are a subject of the queen. I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So our next match was way too much Claudio. He did a vignette where he talked in the beginning about how he likes to fight. He talked after he won the match. Ooh, spoiler, because he likes to win. I'm not exactly sure what he was talking about, but he beat Andrew Everett, who a few years ago in Impact, everyone told me, just watch, he's going to be a big star. And I'm like, I don't see anything big star written anywhere on this guy. Then he went to Ring of Honor. He's like, he's going to be a big star. I'm like, no, he isn't. And sure enough, just local appearance. Basically, he's a smaller version of Cameron Grimes in worse shape, but he can do a decent flip. All right, tell us more. That was cool. Everything I do is cool, Hassan. I'm sure you're talking about me.
I mean, what I will say is I did like how he did the Pele kick. It almost looked like he was floating. It looks so pretty, I have to say. But I feel like they did not have the best chemistry. It was one point I think he did like a, what was it, like a 450 or something off of the top rope, and he completely missed Claudio. And then Claudio just like, and he's just like trying to get up. It was just like a lot. I just feel like they didn't have chemistry personally, but I loved his Andrew Everett. I loved his Pele kick. Very nice, very pretty.
Doesn't help when one guy is 5'5.5" and the other one's 6'5". By the way, speaking of missed 450s, what I didn't say is after the Adam Copeland match, the bad guys did try to come in and beat him up, and Caden Cole, or whatever his name is, tried to do a 450, which Edge was supposed to get out of the way with, but Caden Cole managed to hit him right in the face with his Timberland boots. So,
oh my gosh,
I mean, so throw him into another river. I mean,
I thought. See, I'm glad that you said that, because I thought that maybe I was overthinking. I was like, did he just stomp on him with Tim's? Like, my gosh, that is like that is serious. I know he. So I was wondering, because I feel like Adam like made this face when he got up after he speared him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, am I imagining that he just stomped on this man's face with Tim's? No, thank you for thank you.
It was a botch, and I know it was a botch because immediately Edge went right into the spear to clear him out. I mean, if it wasn't a botch, they would do a beatdown, which is stupid. But yeah, so this guy sucks. He sucked before, and he still sucks, and suckage is bad. All right, so next we get a interview with the delightful Lexi Nair, who is interviewing Absolute Ricky Starks and Big Bill, the delightful Lexi Nair's fiance or husband, maybe. I'm not sure where they are with that. And they are the AEW Tag Team Champions, even though they consistently tell us that they're not even a team and barely know each other. That's their gimmick. We're the Tag Team Champions, but we don't really know each other, like each other, don't really care. But we're not soft. And because Sammy Guevara got the pinfall over Ricky Starks in an 8-man match, that's a match that's coming up. Ricky Starks against Sammy Guevara on Dynamite, I believe, 1-on-1, because Jericho and Kenny Omega beat the Bucks to get their #1 title shot, but Kenny got diverticulitis, and Jericho then got into an 8-man match at World's End instead of a tag team match with him and Guevara then, and Guevara and him made up for the millionth time. How are we feeling tonight? We had to watch Collision. We're reviewing it. How do you think we feel?
I'm doing good.
I mean, listen, I feel blessed to be working with the wonderful Shay Sawyer, and she probably felt that way 7 hours ago, and now it's like, oh my God, this guy doesn't shut up.
I've talked to people who talk way longer than you, and trust me.
Am I like that one girlfriend of yours that, like, has a whole conversation for an hour 15, you're just like closing your eyes, you're texting all that at the end, and she's like, I'm so glad you were there for me, and you're like, anytime.
Everyone knows that Bad Guy Jack is the longest talker on Unpopular Reviews, so you have not passed him. So you're good.
Coming for the crown. Coming for the crown. See, people don't remember. Way back when, I was voted the most popular Unpopular Review host. But Bad Guy Jack apparently got this crown now. I'm not surprised, because he's wonderful and beautiful and has terrific skin and an excellent beard. And he's delightful and nice. But I'm coming for that crown, people. I want my crown back. I got it. We're not soft. LOL. It's true. It's true. Cool. I didn't want to say. You say whatever. This is Unpopular Review. Be unfiltered. Longer talking to Mr. Knox. I don't know. You tell me. But
you know what? Yeah. It's like a 3-way tie, maybe.
I'll take that as a compliment. All right. So Claudio easily dispenses Andrew Everett, and Claudio is going for what exactly? Did he mention what he's going for?
He just said he was fighting for like pride. Like that's what it came. I honestly, when he talks, like he's just not my favorite talker. So sometimes I kind of tune him out. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't blame you. I mean, Jay Swiss. I mean, unless
Fantastic wrestler. Like, please, I will never say that man cannot wrestle because that's just a flat out lie. But just like, I just sometimes like the talking just isn't. It doesn't do it for me. It does it for other people. So then that's all that matters because he's doing it for the people that he does it for. So
I think unless he's speaking in codes to international criminals that are banking through his bank in Switzerland, he should never speak. But as long as he's doing that, it's cool by me because I am Evil Dose and we live on evil. And in the Evil Dose universe in the Garden of Doom, we get a 3.5% cut of all evil doing worldwide. That's how our forces are going to come out of the portal in Antarctica from Agartha and launch upon the entire world when you least expect it. Even though I'm warning you now, you're not going to see it coming.
You know what else I wanted to say? Ricky Starks looked so adorable. I hate to say adorable, but I loved his fit because he literally reminded me of like a 2000s R&B like music video, like his outfit. Like I really, really liked it. I just had to say so.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky, you're amazing.
Well, great. Well, to me, Ricky looks like he really doesn't care and really knows that he's leaving this company very, very soon. I'm just not sure if Big Bill is going with him or not. The interesting thing about Big Bill is that despite him being with AEW in and out for at least the last year, and he had some appearances before that as well, notably, being one of MJF's, bodyguards to, that someone had to get through him. Wardlow had to go through him to get to MJF. I've never seen the announcement that Big Bill is all elite, or I missed it. So I'm not even sure he's under a long-term contract. Anyway, not particularly important, but anyway, this is a promo. It was fine. It was good. These guys actually work together. I like them as a team. And it's cool. And I love that you think he's adorable. So this goes to the next match, our main event, and this is FTR and House of Black. Now, House of Black has been tormenting for FTR for a while, but this is the first match they're having. So in true AEW fashion, in the first match, House of Black declares an unnecessary stipulation that makes no sense and is unimportant and basically gives away the end of the match because that's what AEW likes to do, and they put it on free TV on a Saturday where almost nobody's going to watch it. So good job, Tony. Excellent. What's the stipulation, you ask? If House of Black wins, FDR has to walk up to their families who are going to be in the front row because they knew that magically and tell them that they're disowning their families because that's going to happen. But if FTR wins, House of Black does nothing?
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me.
All right, well, let's see what the cleric says, because the cleric is from Berlin, and that's close to Switzerland. So Claudio's a guy we want to be a multiple-time world champion on a large scale. No, we don't. But even Swiss and Swiss Germans will tell you it may be arduous for him, given who he works for and feeling he must speak. Well, he can't speak, and nobody would make him their world champion for a long time without Hassan Terrell. I mean, is it Hassan or Hassan or is Hassan? Or did I somehow manage to get all three of those wrong? I'm sorry if I got it wrong and if I got it right. But if you want to put in phonetically once, I'll remember it, for at least a day. I'm very old and basically on dementia. I mean, if you can't tell that I have dementia, Alzheimer's, and senility all at once, complete escaping from the old age home soup. That's me. All right. So this match started out slow. It really didn't feel like a grudge match, but when it got kicking in, Like for the first half of the match, I'm like, how is it that these two teams with four terrific wrestlers, one of the best, tag teams despite being 5'8", and two guys who've worked together a lot and are really good, how can they have no chemistry? And as soon as I thought that, they started to have chemistry, and the match turned up. Now, this was weird. This was like, back when Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle were having the blood feud, and instead of running to the ring, Matt Riddle takes his time riding his scooter to the ring and all that, but this was sort of like that, meaning dumb. But once they got going, they got cooking, and it looked like House of Black was going to win, but no, FTR turned it around, and they did win in a match that the second half of was excellent. And FTR does not have to disown their family. Now, one of the important things that happened is that Brody King came when he saw that the going was getting tough, and he was going to change the odds. But Daniel Garcia ran behind him and hit Brody King with the chair and even up the odds. And so with Daniel Garcia's help, these three boring but good technical wrestlers overcame the House of Black, though the House of Black did some beating down at the end. And then in what was one of the better parts of the match, Julia Hart was at the timekeeper place, dinging the bell 10 times. One of the best things they've done with her lately is how to wear a bikini top under her blazer instead of whatever ridiculous thing she was putting together, because she's got small boobs, but it's making it look like she has big boobs, so that's good. So that's good booking right there. That's sort of where the match ended. We saw the FTR Bald's family looking scared. Nobody loves FTR not bald. No one loves FTR mullet, so he doesn't really have a family to be disowned. Why do you traumatize your 4-year-old like this? Even though it's just daddy's work. It's not real. It's like she doesn't stop it. Don't bring your little kids to wrestling. Stop it. But match itself was pretty good, and even though they spoiled the end with an unnecessary stipulation, which will not boost ratings, the right team won, and I'm just sad that now we're going to be subjected to needless 6-man matches involving Danny Garcia, and like they're threatening they're going to push him as a single star. So I'm glad they're not doing that. But like if you're saying you're going to push him as a single star, and then you're going to put him in this 6-man, feud. That just seems goofy to me. What say you, Miss Sawyer? Double S.
I thought it was a really, really great match. At one point, I said, "Good God!" And I feel like anytime any match makes me say "Good God," I think it's going well, because I'm probably reacting to a move that I thought was insane or something. So yeah, I really, really like this. I feel like FTR, they always have good matches, honestly. I'm currently in the middle of rewatching NXT takeovers, and yeah, they just are always good all the time when it comes to the in-ring stuff. And I mean, Malachi Black as well, and Buddy Matthews, really, really talented. So I mean, I didn't expect this to be a bad match whatsoever. I do get what you mean about it kind of starting slow. I feel like FTR does that a lot. Like they always start really slow, and then they start just snapping. It's insane. Especially in the last few minutes, it's insane, which I kind of like. I really am a fan of that. It's a slow burn. I wasn't really a fan of the whole stipulation because it again, as you said, it made no sense. It really didn't. It kind of gave it away, essentially. And then they beat them up after. So it's like, oh, this is continuing, obviously. This is not done. I love Daniel Garcia. I think that he is just someone that is extremely likable. Honestly, I get what you mean. Like, he's still kind of he's warming up. He's, but I just think he's well received because he's so funny. He's actually such a naturally funny person for no reason whatsoever. And I think he just won people over just from online. And it has carried over into AEW, and I think that they're capitalizing on this popularity that he has, and I'm happy. I really do like Daniel Garcia. I think when the first match I ever watched when I watched AEW was a match with him, and I think he was facing Wheeler Yuta. I've been sold ever since on him. I think he's great.
Yuta. Oh God, Wheeler Yuta, Lee Moriarty, and Daniel Garcia, Action Andretti, the Martin brothers, Caden Cole, Griff Garrison, Commander, El Hijo del Viking. This army of zeros. I just can't. I just can't take them. The thing is, AEW could have been the number one promotion in the world, or at least they could be a rival for if they actually booked around wrestlers. Miro just won. You hear anything about it all week? No, of course not. Andrade couldn't get out of there soon enough. I mean, Cody, Punk, they chase him. Listen, I'm one of the people I understand that I feel like he had to fire Punk because Punk was so disrespectful to him. But aside, there's always a rant coming, Jeffrey. It's like what Bruce Banner says to Captain America and Avengers. That's the secret, Cap. I'm always angry. There's always a rant. Malachi Black. They had Brian Cage and Swerve and all these people that you could build a promotion around. Even people I don't like. There's a place for an Orange Cassidy. Darby Allin's totally won me over. You could have done it, but you keep insisting on giving us these minor league shindy jungle boys. No, and Sammy terrible. All right, when you had Wardlow and Hobbs there, Jesus, I'm angry now. Jeff isn't wrong. I love you. I mean, sorry, that was that loud. Too many cooks, yeah, and too many wrestlers leave. Yeah, it's true. There's too many people there. You can't focus on anything, but somehow Tony Khan manages to focus on. I mean, listen, I don't mean to be picking on him, but Danny Garcia is on TV all the time, and Best Friends are on TV all the time. So he manages to focus on some people. There are some people he manages, but it's like the wrong people. No, nobody is seeing Hard to Kill next Saturday night. They haven't even sold it out yet. Listen, Impact is making. Sorry, TNA is making the same mistake that they made with AEW. For a year, their champion was Kenny Omega, and then it was Christian Cage. And they told their own fans that our people aren't good enough to be your top people. And the Good Brothers were their tag team champions, and you saw them more on AEW television than you saw them on Impact. And then they got rid of that. They ended that partnership. They got some New Japan people in there and whatever. And then they brought Trinity in, and they built their entire promotion around Trinity, who they knew was leaving, and she's leaving. And so they flirted with their fans, said, we're totally bidding for CM Punk. We're totally bidding for Mercedes Moné. No, you weren't, you big fat liars. And then what do they sign? Kushida, and they re-signed Eddie Edwards. It's a big deal. It's a bunch of minor leaguers. And, so they're telling their fans, and that's why, even though the rebranding and PLEs and their new streaming platform and all this other stuff, they close out 2023 with 84,000 viewers. Is it 84,000? I'm sorry, 82,000 viewers. And they open up 2024 with their first show of the new year under TNA with 74,000 viewers. 74,000. Okay. So, and Verizon Fios dumped Access, which is 25% of their North American TV base. So, yeah, big things ahead.
Listen, I will be trying. I'll be watching. I love TNA. I'm a TNA diehard. TNA made me stop watching WWE for almost a year and a half at one point.
Well, that's why they're doing the streaming thing, is because you can't see them on TV, so they're trying to get customers at $12.99 a month. Ain't nobody paying $12.99 a month to watch TNA.
I would pay.
Okay, listen. One person is going to pay. Listen, okay, folks that don't know me, I admit I do hyperbole. So when I say nobody, I don't mean nobody. I mean like 9 out of 10 people won't. And in this case, it's probably more like 97 out of 100 wrestling fans won't. Free online. Well, Jeffrey, that's great. I have to be honest with you. I probably wouldn't spend my time doing it, but I waste my time watching NWA and MLW on YouTube, although I quit MLW. So it's just NWA, but NWA is unwatchable, or at least has been. So anyway, I will say, here's a tip for Tony Khan. I didn't want to get into Danny Garcia and all that, but when the bad guys are tormenting the good guys and they're doing sneak attacks and they're jumping in and they're turning the lights off and they're making threats and they're threatening your family and all that, it's the good guys who are supposed to demand the kind of stipulation so they can't run away or get into hijinks. It's not the bad guys who demand a stipulation to make the good guys even madder, and then they lose. It's like all ass backwards. Like the booking is ass backwards so often, and it's still predictable. And this is another reason why a show that opened up to running back-to-back on TNT, and between the two airings of 4 hours, they had 2.2 million viewers. But let's just take the regular primetime airing, 1.4 million viewers, and this past week they had 801,000. So 4 years later, when I was told they're going to do 2 to 3 million, once they start touring the country, they're going to build more fans, and once more people know about it, they start building. No, they keep getting smaller, and these are the reasons they keep getting smaller. So, Tony Khan, I did a show back when I was on the PWC called Outside Interference, and I did one on WWE and one on AEW, and WWE listened, and they did a lot of things I said, not everything, but a lot of things I said, and they're better. AEW, it's there for you. I think I gave you a baker's dozen. I think I gave 12 of WWE. I think I gave you 13, maybe even 14 as a bonus. Listen, do them, you'll do better. It's free. Forget Eric Bischoff. Forget Jim Cornette. Forget Russo. Forget Dave Meltzer. He couldn't sell it to anything. Listen to me. All right, Shay, I think that we've given this show almost an hour and a half of our time for a 2-hour show. That's a little bit long for an unpopular review show. I'm still used to the PWC and Humming Media Group where they like to have shows that were 2.5 hours. So I apologize if the audience isn't used to this. I hope it was enjoyable. I'm sorry I ranted so much and steamrolled so much, but I'm an angry old man, and it's once I get started, it's hard to stop me. And I'm too old, and Shay is too polite to cut me off.
I'm pro rants also, so
I would like to hear your rant. We have like 4 minutes. Let's get a Shay rant.
I can't. I'm not feeling too good tonight to do it, but I definitely would have ranted about the Jay White thing a little bit longer if
next
I was feeling 10% better. Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure they'll give me something else to rant about when they start with these ridiculous.
Wait, I feel a rap coming on. Go with it. Go with it. Lean into it. Lean into it.
The green is going away. No.
No, do it. These are ridiculous. Your hand was up. Come on.
I just feel like the segments that they're gonna put Jay White in the Bullet Club Golden is gonna be very ridiculous and too funny, and it's just gonna take away from his. I think he should just. I'm not into it. But yes, you're right. It's an hour and 26. We're almost at 30. Almost a half an hour. Actually, wow. I think
time flies when you're having fun.
Hang out. Yeah, that's true. I was having a good time. I like rants. I really do. So with that being said, thank you to everybody that came on to sit here and listen to us go over Collision. Thank you, Jeff. You have been an exciting co-host to say the least. Please let the audience know where we can find you.
Well, right here on X, you can find me at Icarus Fell MD, and some people know another secret place to find me. It's not too hard if you look at the part of before the Icarus Fell MD. You can find me here on Unpopular Review. I'm usually on the Dynamite Review Show. I don't know if I'm always going to be on the Collision Review Show. I've been on NXT a couple times. I'm sort of like a utility man. I'm like Serena Deeb. I'm in good hand. Like generally in a pinch, if you need someone, I'm generally around. You can also find me on Hammerlock Hangover with two of your other co-hosts, Bad Guy Jack, the beautiful one, and that boring guy, Big Daddy Cool, Steve Pena, Esteban Pineapple, who looks really good in the fedora. By the way, Bad Guy Jack and Esteban Pineapple, and from UPR's entertainment division, See the Spear, all came to my wedding. They all traveled and came to my wedding. It was nice. Just don't mention Judgment Day and Damian Priest to her. Judgment Day and Damian Priest to you. I'm
screaming now. That we don't have another an hour for this. For that.
Another time, perhaps. All right, well, you can find me there, and you can check it out. I do hope you check out my non-wrestling podcast, Garden of Doom, and its cousin show, Garden Views, on the same feed. Garden of Doom is paranormal, occult, mythology, theosophy, comparative religion, things that go bump in the night, cryptids, a little bit of pop culture, some geopolitics, some alternate history. Garden Views tends to be a little bit more grounded in law, business, and stuff like that. But things that I think have mass interest, like cybersecurity, AI, cryptocurrency, what the law of space might be, what it is. Jack loves a Jeff. Wow. Yeah, of course. Who doesn't love it? Who doesn't love a Jeff with a J, of course?
Jeffrey's feeling very slighted.
Yeah. Sorry, Jeff. You're listen, true love is hard to conquer, but you know what? Your assignment is to watch The Princess Bride 10 times, and maybe then you can conquer his heart. Anyway, believe it or not, I have nothing left to say. Oh, I did a solo show on non-disclosures and confidentiality agreements. In real life, I'm actually a lawyer. It's only 32 minutes. You can find a Hammerlock Hangover, or I think Wrestling Soup's actually going to put it out also as well. So, and that may become a regular thing if people like it. It's not entertaining. It's informational, but I've gotten good feedback on it. So.
And for me, you can find me at Shay Sawyer.
Oh, what a terrible time to
What?
You froze.
Oh, I froze?
Yeah.
Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
Okay, I had to do the Zoolander face come back. You can find me at Shay Sawyer _ on Twitter. You can also find a new episode of the Big Pop Theory podcast on my co-host in the chat will say all of it. It's a lot. But you can find us there. I know Spotify for sure, so listen to that. And you can also
I listened on Apple.
You can also catch me this Tuesday on bodyslam.net for the NXT The Meta 2 after show with In Cat We Trust. So, yep, that's what I'm
doing. Big time Shay Sawyer. All right. Very good.
All
right, folks. Thanks for sticking with us. And stay evil, my friends.
Sweet. Bye! I pressed the wrong thing. I'm not going to lie.